Okay, we're gonna wait, I'll do that again. Right, ready? Okay, how to skate with more flow across the ice. Okay, I want to get you to think about 3 different concepts to increase your flow around the ice. And then I've got some ideas and tips that you can try next time you're out there, okay? So tip number 1 is rhythm in your knee bend. And this is the idea that your knee bend never stops. In whatever you're doing, if I do some random steps now around the ice, if I'm stopping that knee bend and stepping between each one, stopping and pausing, I lose a little bit of that flow. So now I'm going to keep my knee bend moving continuously, and you'll see the difference in the movement on the ice. Instead of stop and start, I keep the knees moving. There's always a down up on my knees, always moving, never stops. And you can just see that flow, and it feels nice to skate, and it looks nice to watch, and it's generally more efficient as you're moving around the ice. You don't lose so much power. So keep your knees moving all the time. The second concept to think about with flow is to make lots of little movements you have in your routines or as you skate around, and think about them as one continuous movement, okay? Now, I often talk about this with arm movements. So let's say your coach is giving you an arm and it goes like this, and then you go back to here for some crossovers, and then you go the other way. Now, if I link them together as one movement, perhaps I slow them down, but I don't stop them. So I get this, moves into this, and now those 2 movements have become one long, big, flowing movement. And we apply the same thing to your feet. So let's say, for example, I have a 3-turn, a crossover, and a landing position. And that's lots of different movements. And the concept of thinking of it as one movement, I might go the 3-turn into the cross, into the land. Okay, so it's just a different way of executing what you're doing, a different way of thinking about linking movements together, okay? So being one step ahead and trying to merge all those little movements into one will help you get an idea of flow in terms of your whole body movement. The third concept I want you to think about with flow in mind is to try and incorporate your whole body. Okay, so let's say, for example, I do a 3-turn, I do a back cross, and then I step forward. All right, now if I can bring my whole body into that movement, it's going to create a whole body flow that's going to help the look of it and help my feet do these things with a lot more flow. One movement, whole body. So I do the same exercise, the 3-turn, the back cross, and the step forward. Then I'm just bringing my whole body into that movement to give it a lot more flow. So, from a coaching point of view, here's some tips to help you increase your flow around the ice. Now, sometimes when I teach a skater a step sequence, I might do this a certain way. Perhaps we're doing a 3-turn cross, and then I say, now we're going to step forward this way, and they go, oh, well, actually I want to step that way, it feels nicer to me. So listen to your body. If a skater says that to me, I'm like, well, let's do it that way then, because that's the way your body's telling you to go. If you want a 3-turn, step forward, and you want to go that way, then you go that way. If a coach is telling you to step the other way, and it feels weird to you, it interrupts your flow, then it's something we can try and fix and just say, you know what? If that feels right to you, then you do it that way, as long as it keeps that look of flow on the ice. So listen to your body as you're putting together step sequences, transitions, then you can really feel like it doesn't feel natural to you to do something, then perhaps you should do it a different way and get onto that edge in a different direction, or change that turn. If it's a rocker you don't like, then maybe you can make it into an outside rocker that you do like and that you can keep your flow. Which brings me on to my next point. And the next point to increase your flow on the ice is to use steps that you're good at, that you find quite easy to do, okay? I remember once, right, I made a program up and it had every difficult turn in, including all the ones that I wasn't very good at the time. And I was struggling around this, but trying to get this back outside left-footed counter or whatever it was, really having a hard time. No flow, gone out the window, completely spoiled the program. Made my turns better, but at the sacrifice of flow. So I think if you're putting a routine together for a show or a competition or a test, and you have at some point an audience watching and you want it to flow, put the steps in you're good at, put the turns in that you find easy so that it has that flow. Work on the hard stuff, and you can put that in later, but don't put it in there straight away. Another tip to help you improve flow is to add easier steps. Sometimes in skating, we get to a certain level, we start to put difficult turns and things like that in our routine, and we forget that actually there's nothing wrong with adding a little forward crossover or a bunny hop or some way of increasing our speed and flow across the ice. Because sometimes it's quite hard. Like, you learn a rocker, you do, like, let's say this could be your sequence, right? You might do a drag and then do a rocker, and then we might do a crossover and step forward. All right, now if I add easier steps around that, I can make that whole sequence flow a lot better. So for example, I could do a drag into a bunny hop. I could do the rocker and do 2 crosses before I step. Okay, so you can always pad out harder elements, harder transitions with easier steps. Okay, so let me know down in the comments, guys, if you've got a transition or a certain step sequence in your routine that you find hard to make it flow. You can even link me a video to it and I can help you have a look at it and we can break it down. Another concept to help you think about flow in skating is a concept called the roller coaster concept. And this is the idea that you are on a roller coaster track, and as you're moving around the ice, it can go down and up, it can tilt and lean, it can even spin and carry on. But the feeling is that you are the carriage going around the track. You're deciding the depth of the drop, the tilt of the curve on the edge on the lean as you turn the corner. And you're pretending you're on that track as you move around the ice, and you're feeling the lean and the speed you want and the depth and the highs and lows as you go around the ice. And that brings a lot of joy and fun to your skating. It's a good idea, a good concept, especially for kids. You can think about being on a roller coaster as you're skating around the ice. Can bring in some of that flow, link some of these knee bends and turns together. Okay, another way you can increase your flow on the ice is in your normal practice every day. Let's say you're practicing a loop jump and you do your crosses and you set your loop jump up and you do your loop jump. You're like, right, I've done that, right, I might do 3 or 4 more, I might move on to something else. Pad out what you're doing with other steps. So you're building up a little sequence in front and behind that loop. Okay, so that same loop jump again, I might do 3 turn, back 3, I might do a little change. Now is the time to enjoy the ice. Now set up my loop jump and then carry on and do a little bit more. All right, so I'm padding out my loop jump with other steps. So maybe it's that you can practice your jumps individually and then you pad them out with steps, and different every time. So you get used to linking easy, fun turns that you find like nice and flowy around what you're doing. Okay, so you're making up little mini routines. Great fun to do, and you can enjoy your skating a lot more in your practice ice. Okay, I hope that's helped you with flow, or the concept of flow on the ice. Let me know down in the comments which exercise you're looking forward to trying, any concepts that we've covered today that you want to have a go at. Leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.